Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Sorry I haven't done any in a while. I just haven't been feeling well. Not up for this huge social impact that is making a video in my room all by myself. But I've been reading some awesome books and I've really been having a good time with that. Anyway, I was going to make a request for donations and stuff like that, but I can't be bothered. But I'm just too abashed. Anyway, I have a few books I want to review tonight, seeing how I have the energy to do so. Tonight I'm drinking Coke Zero Sugar. Do I like it better than Pepsi Zero Sugar? Maybe. I generally always say I like Diet Pepsi better than Diet Coke, but I think maybe I like Zero Sugar Coke better than Zero Sugar Pepsi. Oh, and there's a little bit of rye in this. Not too much. Okay, so first book I want to talk about tonight is the book I got for Christmas. It's very short. I'm sure you've heard of it. If you've heard of Kafka, you've heard of his letter to father, and it's an actual letter to his father. It's not a story. It's a great biographical source. It's short, in terms of letters, it's long. But this version is 58 pages, and if you look, it's big print on big pages. So there you go. So it's easy to read. But who put this out? I don't know. Strange publication. It's probably one of those automatic publisher company things. Oh, it says published by Amazon. So that's how I published my book. Anyway, so this is it's a well-known thing that Kafka didn't get along with his father. It's kind of almost that stereotypical. His father was a well, how do you put this in words? He was loud, domineering, business type guy. From the letter you can picture a big man, a big burly man with a loud voice. He was everything that Kafka wasn't. Kafka was a I don't know, choose your most Sheldon E. Cooper type person, or I don't know if that's a good example, but you know what I mean. Very sorry, just had a little interruption there. Uh, if I didn't cut it out, you'd see what kind of a person I really am in my real life. So, and basically, I was trying to say that Kafka himself was a very timid person, physically timid and weak. I mean, as you know, he died quite young, 41. He died at 41. So, because he was so unhealthy, weak. So this story, it's easy to interpret the relationship dynamic between father and son based on this. You may sympathize with it greatly. It doesn't speak to me in my experience. My father was a very gentle, loving, kind, just wonderful human being. And he was on the more sensitive side, like me, right? And we had a pretty good relationship. And so I've met people like his father, but it didn't speak. I was never abused physically, emotionally, sexually, or anything. So if you were, this would be very powerful. It might almost be overwhelming. So even though I couldn't sympathize with it from a direct personal experience level, Kafka's writing is so powerful that it does draw you in. And I found that even though I at first found this book not all that gripping, because I had read biographies of him, of Kafka, so I knew a lot about this stuff. But I think after a while, his writing style does suck you in, and you're like, how can he write a 58-page letter to his father? And by the way, he never gave it to his father. His father never read it. He never gave it to his father. I guess it was just an exercise maybe of getting stuff off his chest. Um, but after a while, even someone like me who has no, um, doesn't have any personal correlation in his own life to Kafka's experience, it did after a while draw me in and work on me. Um, this is the thing about Kafka. I think people either love him or hate him. And I think most people who don't love literature hate Kafka or would hate Kafka because he's like Kierkegaard, he's very indirect, um, and he says things in unusual ways. I'm just going to pick at random here, and you can see I'm picking at random, if you believe me. Let me just read this, just what I found. It's on page 23. After such experiences, you used to say in bitter jest that we were doing too well, but this joke is in a certain sense not a joke. What you had to fight for, we got from your hand, but the struggle for the outer life, which was immediately accessible to you, and which of course is not spared to us, we have to fight for it late, with child strength and manhood. I do not say that our situation is therefore necessarily less favorable than yours. It is rather probably equivalent to yours, in parentheses, all the basic conditions are not compared, parentheses. Only in this we are at a disadvantage, that we cannot boast about our hardship and humiliate anyone with it, as you did with your hardship. So there's some very novel sentence construction there, which requires deliberation of intellect to follow, how his sentence is progressing. You say, wow, I must have hit on a really key paragraph there. No, I wasn't. It didn't hit on a key paragraph because it's all of it's key. Like, he states and then restates and then it seems never to be satisfied with the formulations he makes about his relationship to his father. Perhaps one of the most interesting things is, let me put it this way. You remember sort of the old adage now, the adage that you shouldn't say you did this. You should say you made me feel this way or whatever. Or you, like, let me just give you an example. You made me angry, or someone can't make you angry. You make yourself angry. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. Kafka's really, really sensitive to the fact, like, he's not a blind blamer of his father. He says to him, he says in this letter several times, he says, like, basically that kind of thing, like, you did this, and even if you didn't, I would still be this way. So he says that, so basically that Kafka knows that his father had a negative impact on his life, but he knows that him being who he is, Kafka being who he is himself, that he would have ended up this way anyway. So that's a very mature analysis. And that was something I was thinking about myself, is that I always think I make the wrong decisions, and my life has ended up in an unhappy place because of the people I've chosen in my life, the people I've not, people I've rejected, the decisions I've made or not made. And I'm the type of guy who thinks a lot about what ifs, right? That's kind of the writer in me. But I know I would have ended up this way anyway. So say if I chose a different career path, say if I chose a different wife, say if I chose blah, 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 I'm always me. And I'm going to end up in this position no matter what. And I think that there's a certain maturity in that, even though that doesn't get people off the hook, right? And I think that was an interesting part of the letter to father. So I guess I recommend it like I recommend anything that Kafka writes. It's not easy to read because his novel sentence construction, like in all his works, and if you've had traumas in your life, like with your father or parentage or abuse or something, then this would be both a difficult read, probably, and also a healing read. So there you have it. Um, but anyway, there you have it. Okay, I'll make another video in a minute, guys. Thanks very much for watching.